This question single-handedly ended the centum aspirations of so many students. The question paper setter, when they were setting this particular question, would not have imagined that this question would be enough to make so many students cry. That said, this question is not really unsolvable. The students found it challenging because they were not able to visualize the construction part in this question. I'm going to give you a mantra that will help you solve almost every new question from the chapter Triangles. 1. If there is a parallel line, then you can solve this question using either BPT or similarity. Now, when does similarity come into picture? That is when the middle line segment that is involved in the question. For example, let's say there is this triangle and there is one more line segment in the middle. If this line segment and this line segment, these two are involved in a particular ratio, that is when similarity comes into picture. The smaller triangle and the larger triangle, they would be no similar, and the sides are all proportional. So in this case, you should not use the basic proportionality theorem. So basic proportionality theorem is only used when there is a ratio of the two lateral sides and not the middle one. So the ratio of the two lateral sides should be involved, not the middle one. So that in that case, you will use BPT. Now, if the middle line is involved, you will only use similarity, right? And if neither similarity or BPT is directly involved, that is, if there is no clear sign of a parallel line, especially in this question, there is no such parallel visible line, right? So you have to make a construction. That construction can either be a perpendicular line or it can be a parallel line. So the idea behind the construction is that it will cause some like ratios to be equal, or it will cause two triangles to be similar, right? That said, now look at the question. AD is a median. This is an important information. We have to make use of this. X is a point on AD such that AX and XD, the ratio is given. BX is extended so that it intersects AC at point Y. Okay. Prove that BX is equal to 4XY. So this line segment and this line segment is involved. Now, there is this AD, which is a median, which means BD and DC are equal. We have to make a construction so that there are two similar triangles, and that construction, I told you, it can either be a perpendicular line or a parallel line. Now I'm going to make this construction a parallel line to BY. That is because we have BD and DC that are equal. So that is your first step. Construct, let's call this as something like DE. Okay. So construct DE, that is parallel to BY. Now, BX and XY, they happen in the triangle BYC. So in triangle BYC, we have D is the midpoint and E is the midpoint. If you recall the midpoint theorem from last year, from class 9, you'll have this as DE parallel to BY. As per midpoint theorem, if there is a line segment that joins the midpoint of two sides of the triangle, then it will be parallel to the third side. In this case, it is BY, and this DE line segment is going to be half of BY, right? So you have the ratio. So triangle BYC is similar to triangle DEC. You just have to give the reasons very quickly here. So angle C is equal, angle C is common in both. So I'm writing it as common. And since DE is parallel, since DE is parallel to BY, we have angle YBD being equal to angle EDC. So these two are similar by the AA similarity criterion. Now, after this, we can write the ratios. So that will be what? BY divided by DE, that is equal to BC divided by DC. So BC divided by DC, and BY by DE, that is 2 times is to 1. Correct? Because BC and DC are also in the same ratio, 2 is to 1. Now we need to take AX and XD, and this is also XY is also parallel to DE, that happens in the triangle ABADE rather. I'm going to take this particular triangle here. In triangle ADE, what happens? So again, triangle AXY is similar to triangle ADE by the same AA similarity. That is because we just constructed DE parallel to whole of BY, so it is also parallel to XY. Using this as per the similarity criterion, so XY divided by DE, that is equal to AX divided by AD, correct? So XY divided by DE, that is equal to AX divided by AD. Remember, AX and XD, the ratio is already given. So that is 2 is to 3, which means this is 2 parts and 3 parts. AX by XD should be what? 2 divided by, or rather AX by AD should be what? 2 divided by 5. So XY is 2/5 of DE. So XY is equal to 2 by 5 times DE, which means we already know that BE is twice of, or rather BY is twice of DE. So if this is twice, BX plus XY, that is equal to BY, and that is equal to 2 times of DE, correct? And XY is 2 by 5 times of 2 by 5 times of DE. So BX plus 2 by 5 times DE is equal to 2 DE. If you interchange the terms, you will get BX is equal to 2D minus 2 by 5 of DE, which is equal to 8 by 5 DE. Now you get the ratio between BX and XY. So BX is to XY, so that is equal to 2, or rather 8 by 5 DE is to 2 by 5 DE. So DE and DE gets cancelled. 5 and 5 gets cancelled. 8 is to 2 is nothing but 4 is to 1. So BX is to XY is in the ratio 4 is to 1, or rather we can write it this way. BX is equal to BX is equal to 4 times of XY. That is the result of this question. So keep it in mind, if there is a totally new question and that does not have a parallel line segment, then you must construct a parallel line involving whatever information is given in the question. AD being the median, that is a very important information in this question, that divides BC in ratio 1 is to 1. So you need to construct the parallel line to BY. The DE is the parallel line to BY such that these two are also equal. Correct? That is how you solve this question. Keep this in mind. You will be able to solve any difficult question from this chapter.